Chapter 7. The water stirred, rippling lightly against the sides of the glass. The surface started bulging, rocking like waves on a beach. Finally, one small drop broke the surface tension and floated up past the rim into the air. Megan stared at the small drop with eyes narrowed. She held her hand close to it, fingers glowing a slight red as orange. Light as a feather, stiff as a board, she muttered. I got it! I got it! You know, you don't have to repeat that mantra from the craft, right? Although you really helps all right, but it's really not necessary. Megan groaned at the sound of her own voice, a part of her that was helping her learn about the internal magic. Remember Twilight Wish? It helped her out. Oh yeah, I wish. You know, I wonder who she had faults with. I'll ask Twilight Sparkle if we ever see her again. Well, you might if. We got now worse chance before, just on Earth. Megan's side sat back down. Seriously doubt being able to levitate a few drops of water is going to help against discord. Well, you never know. The littlest things can sometimes make the biggest impacts. Isn't that what Wind Whistler used to say? A smile tugged at Megan's lips. Something like that. She paused and glanced up. Wait, have we decided what to call you? A little more than awkward and rude for you not to have a name. Well, I'm still you. Just that part separate at the moment. A bit of coping mechanism lately? I suppose, Megan responded. But still, what about Reflector? The same name as the Decepticon who was 3 robots combined into a Polaroid camera? Hey, I like him. He doesn't get as much love as the other Decepticons, but gotta give him credit. He had a gimmick and he stuck to it. Megan smiled as he stood back up. Think of it as redeeming in the line. She sighed as he focused on the glass once more. I'm so gonna need therapy after this. Good idea. I'll make my own appointment. Megan raised her hand toward the glass, but paused. Not even gonna try. She went to the glass and narrowed her eyes. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Spanish Steel and Fancy Pants slowly trotted down the Unite Infinite hallway. Spanish Steel turned to his companion. How long has it been since Blue Blood disappeared on the down of these doors? Fancy Pants floated out once of his jacket pocket and looked at it. Well, if this is right, 2:00, he said, turning to face Spanish Steel. Almost mundane for the old chap, wouldn't you say? A smile slowly crossed Spanish Steel's muzzle. As does mine. He cantered about to face one of the identical doors lining the wall. He reached up with a wing, stopped before grabbing the doorknob. Maybe. Fancy Pants' horn glowed. An identically colored magic enveloped Fancy Steel's wing as he yanked it back. Not good at all. Not good at all. Remember what happened the last time? A groan escaped to Pegasus. It is because we didn't censor that. Spanish Steel spun about, coming nearly muzzle to muzzle with Fancy Pants. The hurry goes on pretty much forever in both directions. I got some food and a flask of water, but that's definitely not going to last forever. Fancy Pants sighed. I knew I should have gone out to bed this morning. I'd rather wish there was some horrific nightmare, and the smell of breakfast will wake me from it. Me too. Spanish Steel admitted. What the ceiling should be, instead of an endless grey expanse. Platoon could be quite preferable to this madness. I don't know where we're going or where we've been. I'll never get out of this. A small smile crossed Fancy Pants' muscle. Don't worry, old chap. I'm sure Twilight Sparkle and her friends have the situation well in hoof. They've done so far worse. Remember Tunic? Queen Celestia Neo Equestria? Its expressive bell. Oh my. What? Fancy Pants grimaced. I started to think what that demon's doing to her, or the other prisoners, if I remember. Neo Equestria's resident discord gave us some sort of prophecy that dictated an entire course of action. Body knows what he's doing to her now. Spanish Steel's rippled. Not even Zed knows that. None of them do. None of us do. He nickered and tossed his head about. Oh, this is fucking ridiculous. We're trapped in an endless hallway with a cursed blue blood. We're never going to get out here, and we'll be forgotten in... Fancy Pants tried over to Spanish Steel. He took the Pegasus' head in his TK and moved it around so they locked eyes. Stop that! Stop that! If you continue down that trail, you'll lose control again, General. Or if you go down, I'll certainly follow soon after. Into it! A slow sigh escaped Van Steel. He closed his eyes and nostrils fair. It is a scene how to take crazy. He chanted out, Thank you, Chancellor. He looked around. Granny Bonnie, if you can hear me, We could use some help right now. A beam of midnight black light stabbed through the air, tearing a hole in the fabric of space a few feet from the pair. It slashed down, widening the hole and allowing Princess Luna herself to walk through a beam of light being trailed behind her. Crossing through the portal she had just emerged from. Luna looked around, quickly spotted Spanish Steel and Fancy Pants. "Huzzah!" she cried out, tossing a hoof in the air. She turned back to the hole in space. "Sister, I have found General Steel and Chancellor the Pants!" Celestia's voice echoed from beyond the hole that had carved in earlier. "Okay, Luna. Because you're hurrying up a bit, though. I don't know how long I can maintain the connection with you." Luna nodded. "Of course. 'Tis the stallions, if you please. Time is short." Two stallions exchanged a look. Spanish Steel turned back to the would-be rescuer. "It's this. Captain Blueblood is Celestial too. He's been affected, changed by Discord's chaotic magic." Fancy Pants slowly nodded. "Indeed, Princess. I can't abandon the old boy. It wouldn't be proper or right." Luna's eyes narrowed. Her eyes darted back and forth. "It would not, Chancellor. Fortunately, I know my nephew and how his magic feels." She slowly looked from left to right. "Aha!" One of the endless floors flew open. Blue blood floated out of it, his front half resembling a buffalo and his back half a deer. His muzzle was in the air. He paid his surroundings little mind as he floated over to Luna's side. Luna stared at him. "Oh, this is worse than I thought." She looked to Fancy Pants and Spanish Steel as they started towards the portal. "Discord's magic is a curse upon this world." Fancy Pants paused right before entering the portal. He looked over to Blue Blood and whinnied. "Sadly, Your Highness, this is better than the last time we walked out the door." With that, he turned and led the hunt into the hallway. Spanish Steel spared Luna and Discord and Blue Blood a glance. This time, he was split into these three blending pots. One was his head, his midsection resembled a human's, and his hindquarters. He trailed off and stared into space before blinking, shaking his head. Spanish Steel then walked through the portal, following Fancy Pants. Luna sighed and shook her head. "Don't worry, dear nephew. You shall be safe. Or rather safer from Discord's magic." She turned to walk through, leaving the now empty hallway and sealing the portal up behind her and Blue Blood. Fancy Pants and Spanish Steel respectively tried it out and flew out of a small tear in space. They emerged from the cerulean whirlpool and found themselves in the Royal Canterlot Gardens, or some twisted nightmare version of it. Tupperies had outbrooded themselves and were running wild all over. Some of them were fighting, ripping out branches and shredding leaves. Small furrows had formed in the dirt and raced around underhoof, coming to a stop. Creatures with heads of birds and bodies of squirrels poked their heads out of the ground, sending out small showers of dirt and debris. And finally, the sun and moon raced through the sky, spinning around each other in the sky when not dipping below the horizon, only to emerge from a completely random part of the sky. Celestia stood off to the side, head held high. A golden dome of energy flowed from the tip of her horn, surrounding the area a few dozen meters in diameter. About 30 servants and governors and officials huddled underneath the dome, an island of sanity in a stormy sea of chaos. Celestia's head tilted down slightly as Luna walked over. "Is that Blue Blood?" she asked. Luna nodded. "I'm afraid the demon's magic got to him, sister. Hopefully your shield spell can cleanse him." She floated the Discord Blue Blood over through the barrier and over to Celestia's side. "May your magic drive Discord's taint from his form," she shouted. Even as Blue Blood passed through, his form started changing. His entire form shrank and became more uniform as the buffalo deer house reverted back to his original equine form. Blue Blood's expression cleared, and his eyes regained their sharp focus. "What happened?" He looked around. "Ortiz, is this some sort of prank or merriment?" Celestia shook her head. "I'm afraid not, Blue Blood. Discord has escaped and kidnapped Megan." Her eyes stretched to a large structure Discord had formed, still bearing his leafy likeness on it. Right now, Twilight and the others are inside that structure Discord had formed, searching for him and Megan. All Luna and I could do is cheer us out here, trying to keep as many safe as possible. She looked around at those huddling under her shield. "I wish I could do more. Extend my shield out further, but it's taxing enough right now." Blue Blood looked up at the sky, eyes squinting as he focused on the sun darting about. "How much energy can you get from the sun?" "Enough to maintain the shield, definitely, but not much beyond that." Blue Blood nickered and kicked at the dirt. Slowly he looked up, his horn glowing. A thin beam of magic shot from the tip, striking Celestia's own horn. "Then let me share some of my own magic with you, Auntie. Bonnie knows you need it more than I." He held up a hook to his forehead. Just give me a small pot of ground to lie on. Spanish Steel and Fancy Pants entered the dome and flanked Blue Blood, staring at him as they held him down. Fancy Pants half smiled. You will always give too little credit, old boy, he said, glancing up at Celestia. His own horn glowed. He fired off a short burst of magic. Resist, if I may! Celestia closed her eyes as their magic joined her own. It shames me that I cannot protect you on my own, she admitted, cheeks turning scarlet. Spanish Steel waiting as he spotted several soldiers under Celestia's protective shield. I know that's feeding your majesty, he muttered, legs folding tight against his barrel. Luna walked up to Celestia. If there's nothing else, I shall continue my rescue efforts. Celestia looked around. I think we're all here for a moment, Luna. She fired a steady beam of magic, linking horn with Luna's. Just be careful. I don't know what I'd do without you. Luna's eyes went to the sky as the moon passed overhead. Oh, you'd manage, she said before turning around and walking through a portal. Celestia glanced as Luna left the Royal Candlelight Garden. Only because you could still watch over me, then. Queen Celestia walked up to the sink in her jail cell. A metal cup bounced precariously on her forehead. With some careful maneuvering, she slid it down off, past her nub of a horn, and into the basin. She brought up a hoof and turned the spigot, only for Discord's head and serpentine neck to flow out. Oh, how original, she said, stepping back as he poured himself out of the air. Discord twisted his body to knots, wringing himself out, sending flour flying about. Well, what can I say? I'm a sucker for the classics. He looked around. So, trying to get time off for good behavior? Has your Twilight tried some harebrained scheme to bust you out of here? Queen Celestia cantered around Discord and went back to the sink. Well, your magic has been, well, evil. If you don't mind, I'm a bit thirsty. May I have some actual water, please? Discord stared at her, one eyebrow arched. You seem a bit calmer since the last time we met. His hair curled around dreadlocks, a tie-dyed t-shirt flaccid existence over his upper torso, and smoke billowed about. So, did you expand your inner consciousness and break through to the other side? Maybe find some interesting plants that you rolled up and smoked to find this calm? Queen Celestia tossed her head back and laughed, the sound quickly devolving into choking gas. She looked back at her clock as her right eye started twitching. Oh, Discord! Right now I'm eternally screaming my head off. Her mouth turned up into a rictus of a smile. The queenly mask is good for more than just social occasions. A sigh escaped Discord. Boy, my alternate quantum reality counterpart really did a number on you, didn't he? He floated about, passing through the bar cells into the main hallway. His eyes popped out of their sockets and whizzed back, before jetting back and popping into his mouth, eventually rolling up into their sockets. Oh, don't be so stoic, Sally. Your fellow prisoners are making the most of what I'm offering them. Twilight hopped about her cell, quills and scrolls flowing out of her hose. Get down here, she shouted, jumping up and missing them. I need these so I can make sense. Flares was huddling in the corner of her cell, wings folded over her head. 3 rats the size of bulldogs surrounded her, teeth bared and dripping saliva as they snarled at her. Mosquitoes disguised as falcons hovered near her, buzzing. No, please, stop, she whimpered. I'll be good. I'm sorry. And the rats couldn't help but look at her and go, I'm Mr. Boombastic. They call me fantastic. Romantic. That song's ridiculously catchy. AJ sat in her bunk. Ghostly shades resembling her long-dead parents stood next to her bed, staring up at her. Why did you forsake our legacy? Parapara asked. Why did you deceive so many? AJ's breath hissed in her throat. No, I thought money to Ma. I thought I was doing good things. Bear scowled about her cell, chasing various items she had collected while in prison. Get back here! She screamed, eyes ablaze. You belong to me! You're mine! Peggy's lips curled back, exposing her teeth in a sneer. She batted her forelegs in the air. You're not funny. Stop being mean to me. Stop, you hear? Her eyes folded against her skull. She hunkered down against the hard stone floor. Leave me alone! Sign stood in front of a translucent image of Princess Cadence. Every time he took a step towards her, the image faded. When he stepped away, it solidified. He stared at it, eyes never leaving the sight of his beloved. Finally, Dash sat in the middle of her cell. staring up at a patch of blue sky hanging above her. She flexed the remnants of her wings and sighed. So close, she murmured. That's so not cool. Discord turned back and flew to Queen Celestia's cell. See, what did I tell you? Queen Celestia stared at him. I think you might be crazier than the Discord back in my reality, or at least more vicious in your own way. He set up the bogus prophecy that destroyed all I had worked for. You seem to live more for the moment, for the thrill of breaking someone. Discard grinned. Oh, I have plans. They're a bit short-term. Some contradict each other. Some run parallel to what you desire. But no, make no mistake, Queenie. I have plans. And not just for Equus either. He held his paw up, two spears forming in the palms. One was Equus, one was supercontinent dominating one hemisphere, and a trail of islands scattered all about the ocean. The other was Earth, with its continents scattered about. The humans are so wonderfully chaotic. I think they'll like me a lot. He closed his paw over Earth, crushing it. The pieces turned steel gray, reassembled themselves into a metal world. I think Cybertron might like me too. They'll stop you, Queen Celestia finally replied. They stop me, they'll stop you. Fire danced in Discord's eyes. He brought out a stick with marshmallows impaled on it and shot the fire over them, roasting the marshmallows. He slid the stick all the way back into his mouth, and then spat the marshmallows out. They expanded into clouds, chocolate rain falling from them. You're so gullible, you'd buy the beans without any need for them to be magic, he said, chewing the stick up and swallowing it. He tossed a wave at Queen Celestia, the water washing over her head, soaking her mane. That's all for now. Discord turned, grabbed the empty space and pulled it open, stepping through the hole in the aether before and snapped back into place. Queen Celestia stared at the spot Discord had vanished from. Her breath hissed in her throat, eyes bulged at her stomachs. She backed away from it, the queenly mass slipping away from her quickly as it formed. They'll stop him. They'll stop him, she repeated as he cantered about, eventually collapsing onto her cot. Ears folded down. She folded her ears down tightly as she could against her skull, then folded her forelegs down to drown out the screams of her fellow prisoners as much as possible. For U.S. Marine Sergeant Robert Bobby Field, his assignment to Everfree Forest, guarding the reconstruction team for the Castle of the Two Sisters, could almost feel quaint, nostalgic. It reminded him of the years spent in the realm. Hey, it's Bobby from D&D! Applause! Fighting off what could be once considered to be otherworldly threats, and not sure what to expect from the next corner. Right now he stood near a nearly rebuilt wall of the castle, his trusty magic club, a souvenir from his adventures in the realm, held it high as several pieces of heavy construction equipment shambled or floated toward him. Okay, if this is some damn joke, it's not funny, he shouted as he sat down with his club. The enchanted wood glowed with each moment, brightening as it came closer to the marauding machinery. He looked his club over. Ah, screw this! He brought the weapon up, and with a loud shout started swinging. The club struck a chainsaw, knocking it out of the air. A large flash of light burst from the point of impact as it flew off, striking the ground, and bouncing a few times before stopping. It lay where it landed, not moving or operating. Bobby looked at the chainsaw, then at his club, then at the machines around him. Some of them waggled about in midair, almost as they were looking from Bobby to the knocked-out chainsaw. A smile slowly formed on Bobby's mouth. Thank you, Dusty Master! He shouted as he moved forward, club swinging. The machines all scattered, flying or scurrying off in various directions. Most of the ones in the air faded Bobby's blows, but the ones on the ground were quickly knocked out. Bobby hefted his club high in the air. No one stops Bobby the Barbarian! Hey, Bobby? Let's use 5e rules. All right! I would like to rage! A noise from the side caught Bobby's attention. He looked over, guessing at a large monster shambled over. Its bipedal, with the upper body of a trout, lower legs and pants and dress shoes. Bobby's eyes widened as he spotted a name tag right below the fish's gills, reading Potter. Colonel? The Discord Colonel, Henry Potter, head of the detachment of Marines sent to the Everfree, shambled towards Bobby, mouth opening and closing. Fishing lines swung from his fins, large hooks laid into them, their barbs somehow glinting in the dim light. Bobby sucked in a breath. Oh, son of a bitch, He swallowed and brought his club up. Colonel, are you in there? He ducked and rolled to the side as one of the hooks sailed at him, nearly slicing his head open. All right, I'll take the court-martial! With that, he charged at Henry, club swinging. Henry, being half man and half fist, was unable to dodge as Bobby ran up to him, swinging his club. The wood struck him, not nearly as hard as it did the machines, but enough to send him falling into dirt. Even as Henry fell, he was enveloped by a bright flash of light. When it faded, Henry Potter lay there on the ground, fully human once more, fist in his right hand and fishing pole in his left. He stared out at the forest canopy, blinking. Salted field? Bobby leaned forward and panted slightly. Yes, sir? What happened to me? Bobby swallowed. Well, sir, as far as I can tell, you were turned into a fishman, with giant fishing hooks for weapons. You attacked me and I struck you with my club. He pasted a grin on his face. Sorry. Henry groaned. Apology, accepted Sausage. Now could you please help me up? Bobby knelt down and grabbed Henry's right arm. He held the older man to his feet. Sir, do you remember what you were doing before you became that thing? There was a pause. Henry looked over his shoulder. I was at the river with some of the ponies on the restoration team, doing some fishing. I heard a voice say something about me wanting to be with the fish so badly, and then I was staring out of you. He looked back, eyes landing on all the pieces of machinery scattered about. What happened here? Bobby scratched the back of his head. Well, I was just walking along when the machinery started up. I thought it was some sort of glitch or prank, until they all started flying in my head. He headed to his club. If it wasn't for this, I'd be in the middle of a horror movie by now. Henry looked around, distant screams and shouts, muffled by walls of foliage echoed. I think we already are, Sergeant. Bobby looked at his club over. Sir, if I take something out? And Henry's nod, he walked a few paces over from his CO. He let his club slide down a bit out of his grip, until he was only holding it by the strap. He started spinning around, with glowing and brightening with each revolution. He finally brought the club down to the ground, striking the dirt with a mighty whack! And here I thought he was going to try the Thor maneuver. The ground at the point of impact shattered and cracked, bolts of air racing around the fall fissures forming in the dirt. A large dome of translucent air burst from the crater, expanding out for a few meters and passing through everything it touched, restoring them for what passes for normal in the ever-free forest, and removing Discord's taint. Henry looked around. Nice job, Sausage. Think that'll look again. Bobby looked over his club. He walked forward a few feet more, spinning his club around and bringing it down again over another thwack. This time, however, the point of impact barely sparked, and no thorn formed. He sighed and brought his club back up. Sorry, sir. I think it's got recharged. Henry walked to his side. It's all right, Sergeant. He waved a hand around. Looks like I thought some. Look at it! Bobby brought his club up just as a timber wolf with wings and heaven snake bounded at him. He tapped his club at it, striking the head. It flashed, breaking apart into a timber wolf, an eagle, and a snake. The animals all scattered, running, flying, or slithering off. Henry nodded. Good job, Sausage. Bobby relaxed slightly. Thank you. Think it's best I take the lead and seek out any form of restoration crew, or our fellow Marines? Quite prudent, Sausage. Lead on and keep the club high. For the 10th time that hour, Mike Richards pulled his cell phone out and scrolled down to his wife's number. For the 10th time, he looked at it and almost called before sighing and sliding back into his pocket. The kitchen door opened and a young blonde about Danielle's age walked in. Hey, Mr. Richards! Jessica Yeager walked out, walking over to her by the kitchen counter. You all right? Mike looked at her and pasted a smile on his face. Oh, me? That's fine. He waved her off, just making lunch for Cade. He leaned close. You know how he gets when he's in his workshop. Tessa rolled her eyes. I've only been dealing with it since I was 5, Mr. Richards. She looked up, however. Are you all right? You seem a little tense. Mike hesitated for a moment. He picked up a brown paper bag with one hand and held up his phone with the other. Megan says he called me after her business that Discord thing was done. Unless there's some sort of time slips going on, that should have been nearly an hour ago. He swallowed. I'm worried. Tessa bowed her head. Well, that explains it. She finally said and looked back up. What do you need, if anything? A sigh escaped Mike. I don't know if I need anything, Tessa. What's the old saying about hoping for the best? Prepping for the worst. Tessa finished. She went to a silver frame on the counter, showing a young, wild-eyed man with short brown hair, and a woman with longer blonde hair, and a face almost identical to Tessa's. It's a hard lesson. She cleared her throat and held out her hands. Here, let me help you with that. Mike handed over the paper bag and a thermos of coffee, grabbed another bag, and followed Tessa out the large, two-story house, across the yard to an old, dilapidated barn. The pair maneuvered around several corners and distance to the ground, and walked up to a small side door in the barn, next to the much larger main ones. Warning signs were plastered all over the door, and the walls surrounding it, while scabbards of retrofitted traffic posts had been snuck into the pads of concrete next to the door. Tessa looked at the traffic light over. Okay, Green, we're cool. So he opened the door and walked in, Mike following. The interior of the barn had been long since gutted, rebuilt as a combination laboratory and test chamber. Random bits of machinery, tool racks, and plain junk were scattered about, with high-powered lights strung up on the ceiling, casting harsh shadows about. A man in a lab coat and goggles around his forehead, about Mike's age, was sitting at a table, old-style tape recorder in his hands. Note for future experiments. Energon is not suitable for use inside an internal combustion engine. He kneaded his forehead before continuing, although I'm wondering if the Mythbusters don't know that or not. He turned his chair and was Mike and Tessa approached. Oh, hey! Mike placed a paper bag on the table in front of Cade. Hey, buddy. Slow down. Tessa and I know how you could get. Really do your work. Cade looked back at his bag. I had breakfast. Tessa brought me some. Tessa walked around to Cade's side. Did you eat the breakfast I gave you? Cade swallowed, cleared his throat and waved his hands about. Well, do you see the food anywhere around? Two teenagers walked to the table, each a couple of years younger than Tessa. Thanks for the breakfast, Mr. Yeager. The lead one, a yellow girl with pale skin, short brown hair, wearing a vest over a t-shirt, said. That was pretty good. Yeah, those hash browns were divine, the second one said. A young man with dark skin and a halo of curly brown hair. He looked at Mike and Tessa grinned. Oh, hey, when did you get here? Cade slowly shrank down in his chair, while an impressive bit of improvised choreography crossed their arms and glared down her noses at the eccentric inventor. Well, I mean, they're both good kids, Cade said, swallowing slightly. Tessa waved at the hand of the pair. Mr. Richards, this is Charlie Watterson and Guillermo Gutierrez. Dad hired Guillermo 2 weeks ago to help out the lab. Charlie's been working hard for a few months, actually. Just the whole neo-equestrian invasion, she couldn't come over while you, Megan, and Michelle have been here. Mike nodded. He held his arms and shook their hands. Nice to meet you two. Thanks for making sure Kate's limbs stay intense. Guillermo screamed as he pumped Mike's hand. Been a pleasure, sir, but please, call me Memo. Mike's brow furrowed. All right, but why? Memo pointed his thumbs back at himself. Because you always need to get the memo, he said, grinning. Silence reigned around the table for a few awkward moments. Mike cleared his throat. So, Charlie, the Smiths? Good band. Danny and Cade and I made our way to Pittsburgh for one of their concerts in... When was it, Cade? He snapped his fingers. August of 1986. Charlie's face twisted in jealousy. Oh, lucky. Cade chuckled. That was great. He stood up and turned to Charlie and Memo. All right, I'll need you two to get the power ready for full-scale testing. I think we got the bugs worked out. But you got a backfield, I'll meet you in a few. Charlie looked at Molly. I'll get the dolly ready while you open the back doors. Then we'll get the blast fields in place, okay? She looked at Kate and tossed her a quick salute before turning off. Memo looked at her for a few moments. Grin quickly faded. Wait, blast fields. Hey, Charlie, wait up. You're thinking about those, right? Mike shook his head as Memo ran off. He'll learn. Kate looked Mike over. So what's the problem? He held up a hand. And don't, Mike. I'm the immature doofus who needs his own daughter to remind him to eat. You're the responsible one with his head planted firmly on your shoulders. He cocked his head to Megan. Megan? Mike's head dropped. Megan has a cold yet. I'm worried about her, Cade. This discourse sounds like real bad news. Not sure if it's a call or not. Once he's in the middle of stealing him away or something, and whoops, there goes a ringtone and starts buzzing. Almost never sounds such a phone unless he's in a theater or something like that. Cade placed his hands on his hips and bowed his head. I get what you mean, Mike. I mean... He looked up, his mouth stretched with a grin. Oh, come on, man. He slapped Mike on his arm. It's Megan. She can handle herself. See, wasn't she trying to deal with a crap like this since she was 13? She'll be fine, buddy. She's not alone either. She's got the ponies, right? Mike barked a laugh. Right. They'll be fine. Might be a bit of mischief with Discord, but nothing she can't handle. Nothing at all. Kate shot the thunder on his shoulder. Okay, come back to the field. Runs the test, has the brewskis, it'll be blast. He held his hands up. Well, not literally. He turned and started walking up the aft back to the barn. Mike and Tessa followed. Mike leaned close to the young woman. We're not actually going to be drinking any alcohol, right? Tessa shook her head. Oh no, we're going to need our wits about us when the converter starts exploding, or transforming, or both. She started slightly, like this one time. Mike paid just enough attention to Tessa as she wanted to get the gist. But Mike quickly drifted back to the Rainbow Bridge and crossed it into the love of his life. She'd be fine. She'd be fine. And for those of you who are curious, Tessa and Cade Yeager are from Transformers The Age of Extinction. And the unfortunate implications there are gone. And Charles E. Watson, Memo from Bumblebee. Which I have yet to see. Along with Rise of the Beast. I gotta go watch that.